The desperate call. Deep in the silence of space, far beyond known trade routes and protected sectors, a small alien scout ship drifted near the edge of a yellow star system. The system had no official name in the Galactic Council records. It was marked as unimportant, primitive zone. But today, something unusual was happening inside it. On board the scout ship, Captain Vaylor stood in front of the main viewing screen. His 4 eyes focused on the pale blue planet below, Earth. He did not like this assignment. No one did. The Council had ordered a simple observation mission. Watch the humans. Record their behavior. Confirm they were still non-threat species. Vaylor's claws tapped slowly on the metal console. They still look harmless, said Officer Ral through the comms. Harmless things are often the most dangerous to underestimate, Vaylor replied coldly. Ral laughed. These humans. They are divided, primitive, and stuck on one planet. They can't even leave their own moon properly. Vaylor did not answer. He had studied enough ancient war records to know one thing. Every dominant species was once underestimated. Earth did not look dangerous. No massive space fleets. No obvious defense network. Just a quiet, spinning world covered in clouds, oceans, and lights. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. Globe showing Europe, Africa down on Earth. Unknown to the galaxy. On Earth, life continued normally. Cities were awake. Cars moved through streets. People went to work, laughed, argued, and dreamed. No one knew that above their sky, an alien ship was watching them. No one knew that the galaxy had already judged them as weak. But far below the surface, in places no civilian had ever seen, things were not as peaceful as they seemed. Inside a hidden underground facility, deep under a mountain, silent screens suddenly flickered to life. Old systems that had not been activated in decades began to wake up. A red light blinked once, then twice. Then the entire room lit up. A voice echoed through the command center. Unauthorized signal detected. Technicians ran to their stations. Most of them looked confused. Some looked scared. An old officer stepped forward. His uniform had no country flags. Only a simple symbol. A circle around a planet. He looked at the screen. A signal had entered Earth's deep space communication network. But the strange part was this. It was not a human signal. It was alien. Satellite antenna, the first contact. On the alien scout ship, Vaylor received a response from Earth. A single transmission came back. No video. No greeting. No diplomacy. Just a short message in broken universal translation. Who is watching us? The bridge went silent. Ral leaned forward. They detected us? That is impossible, another officer said. Their tech level should not even reach basic orbital scanning. Vaylor narrowed his eyes. Reply, he ordered. The signal was sent. You are being observed by the Galactic Council. Remain passive. Do not interfere in galactic affairs. There was a pause. Then Earth responded again. This time faster. We are not part of your council. The alien crew looked at each other. Ral chuckled nervously. Bold. Or stupid. But before anyone could continue, something unexpected happened. Every instrument on the scout ship flickered. For half a second their systems froze. Then returned to normal. But now, Earth was no longer just a planet on their screen. It was highlighted. Flag. Warning the mistake that changed everything. Vaylor's claws tightened. This was not supposed to happen, he said quietly. What do you mean? Ral asked. The observation grid. It was supposed to be passive. No interaction. No alert systems triggered. But the humans responded first, another officer said. Vaylor stared at the planet below. And then he realized something that made his blood grow cold. The human signal was not random. It was precise. Too precise. Like it came from a system that was already waiting. New moon deep under Earth. Something wakes up. Inside the hidden facility, alarms were no longer silent. Now they were active. Red lights filled the room. Screens displayed incoming data from orbit. The old officer spoke calmly, but his voice carried weight. An unknown ship has entered solar space. A younger technician asked, "Are they hostile?" The officer did not answer immediately. He simply watched the data scroll. Then he said, "They have already made a mistake." One of the systems pinged again. A second alien transmission had arrived. This one was not polite. It was official. "Human civilization, you are now under Galactic Council observation. Do not attempt communication again." Silence filled the room. Then the officer gave a small nod. "Wake Protocol 1. The technician froze. "Sir. Protocol 1 hasn't been used in over 100 years. The officer looked at him. "That is correct." Another pause. Then the officer added, "And we have never used Protocol 2. He pressed a button. Deep beneath oceans, deserts, and mountains, systems began to awaken. Old defenses, old machines, old secrets, things humanity had hidden from itself. Milky Way back in space. The first fear. On the scout ship, Valor saw something that made him step back. The human planet was changing. Not physically, but electronically. Energy readings increased. Hidden signals began to appear. It was like the planet had been asleep. And now it was opening its eyes. Ral whispered, "What is happening?" Valor's voice was low. "I think we are not the first ones to watch them." The alien crew fell silent. For the first time since entering the system, fear appeared on their faces. Because they realized something terrible. They were not observing Earth. Earth was now observing them back. In the silence of space, the Galactic Council did not remain silent for long. Inside a massive floating structure made of dark metal and glowing energy rings, hundreds of alien species worked together. This was the Council core, the center of galactic law, trade control, and military observation. On one of the main observation screens, Earth was now marked in red. A senior council member, High Overseer Thalcor, stared at the data. His long fingers tapped slowly on the armrest of his throne-like chair. "This is impossible," he said in a deep voice. The report was simple, but disturbing. Unknown human response detected passive observation compromised planet Earth showing hidden signal activity military-grade systems awakening. Another officer stepped forward. "Overseer." The humans responded to our warning. Thalcor's eyes narrowed. They were not supposed to respond. A silence spread through the room. Because everyone knew one rule of the Council. Primitive species do not respond to Council-level signals unless they have advanced detection systems. And Earth was not supposed to have those systems. Warning the second message. Thalcor stood up slowly. "Send them a final warning," he ordered. Communication channel was opened. A message was prepared, formal, strict, and final. Human civilization of Sector 7 Earth. You have violated observation protocol by responding to Council communication. This is your final warning. Any further interaction will be considered resistance. The message was transmitted across space. It reached Earth in seconds. Globe showing Europe, Africa, Earth. The quiet before the storm. Inside the underground command facility, alarms were now steady and controlled. No panic, no chaos, only preparation. The old officer stood in front of a glowing holographic map of Earth and space. He read the alien message silently. Then he said, "So, they finally identified us." A technician asked, "Sir, do we respond?" The officer shook his head. "No, was." Then he added, "Not yet." The room stayed silent. Because everyone understood one thing. Humanity had not shown its full hand yet. New Moon, the awakening system. Deep under Earth's crust, far below oceans and deserts, something massive began to move. Not ships, not weapons, but systems. Old defense networks that had been built in secrecy over centuries. Some were forgotten. Some were hidden by design. And some were never recorded at all. A central AI system activated. A calm voice echoed through underground tunnels. Protocol 1 acknowledged. Then another voice followed. Surface defense grid, online. Orbital shadow systems, online. Deep space monitoring active. The Earth was waking up. Not like a planet, but like a machine. Police car light back in space. The first loss. On the alien scout ship, alarms suddenly screamed. Unknown energy spike detected. Ral shouted, "What now?" Vaylor stared at the readings. "It's coming from the planet," he said slowly. Then something happened that no one expected. One of the Council's distant monitoring satellites near Earth went dark. No explosion. No warning. Just gone. Ral stepped back. Did they destroy it? Vaylor did not answer immediately. Then he said, "No, was." Then his voice dropped lower. "They didn't even acknowledge it existed." Milky Way, the galaxy begins to notice. In the Council core, more alerts began to appear. Satellite after satellite near Earth stopped responding. Observation drones disappeared. Communication probes failed. Thalcor's expression changed for the first time. "This is not a primitive response," he said quietly. A scientist replied nervously. "Then what is it, Overseer?" Thalcor looked at the Earth projection. And then he said something that shocked the entire room. "This is a locked system." Silence. "What do you mean locked?" someone asked. He pointed at the data. "Every time we try to observe deeper, we lose access. It is as if the planet is rejecting observation." A military officer stepped forward. "That is impossible. No primitive civilization can block Council surveillance." Thalcor turned slowly. "Then explain why we cannot see what is already inside their atmosphere." No one answered. Because there was no explanation. Globe showing Europe, Africa, Earth. The second response. The Alien Council sent another message. This time it was sharper. "Human species, your actions are escalating tensions. Stop all unknown activity immediately or face enforcement." Inside the underground facility, the message appeared on the main screen. The old officer read it carefully. Then he said, "They think this is escalation." A technician asked, "Isn't it?" The officer shook his head. "No." He turned toward the map. "This is confirmation." "Of what, sir?" someone asked. The officer looked serious. "That they are not ready for us." Satellite, the first human move. For the first time Earth acted. A single command was issued. No country name. No flag. Just coordinates. Far above Earth. Hidden satellites that had never been detected began to reposition. They moved silently. No propulsion noise. No heat signature. No communication. The alien scout ship suddenly detected movement. Ral shouted, "Something is launching." Vaylor's eyes widened. "No, something is aligning." From Earth's shadow, multiple objects began to appear on sensors. Not new ships. Old ones. Very old. But fully active. The alien crew realized something terrifying. Earth had not just hidden technology. It had hidden an entire system. Skull and Crossbones, the first encounter. A Council drone attempted to scan one of the objects. The moment it sent the signal, the drone disappeared from all systems. Vaylor's voice turned sharp. "Pull back the scout ship." Ral hesitated. "We haven't finished observation." Vaylor shouted for the first time. "Now!" The ship turned instantly. But as it moved, Earth sent a final transmission. Short. Simple. Clear. "You are inside restricted space." The message repeated across every alien channel. Not as a threat, but as a fact. New Moon, end of Part 2. Inside the Galactic Council, fear was growing for the first time in centuries. And near Earth, the scout ship began to retreat. But one truth was now clear to everyone watching. Humanity was not reacting to the galaxy. It was responding to an invasion that had already started. Long before the aliens realized it. And Earth had finally opened its eyes completely. When silence turned into war, the Galactic Council believed the humans would stay silent forever. But silence was never weakness. It was preparation. Now, in the cold darkness of space near Earth's orbit, something was changing. The scout ship that had first made contact was retreating fast. Alarm systems were still screaming inside it. Every alien officer on board could feel the pressure rising, like the space itself had become heavier. Vaylor stood near the command console. His eyes were fixed on the holographic projection of Earth. It no longer looked like a simple blue planet. Now it looked awake. Behind him, Ral spoke in a tense voice. "We are pulling back. Council command will want full report." Vaylor did not answer immediately. His instincts were warning him. Something was wrong. Not small wrong. Extremely wrong. Then it happened. Warning: the space above Earth opens. The alien sensors suddenly detected multiple energy spikes. First they thought it was noise. Then the noise formed patterns. Then the patterns became structure. Ralph froze. "What is that?" The screen zoomed out automatically. And then they saw it. Dozens of objects were emerging from Earth's orbital shadow. Not one or two. Not 10. Hundreds. No communication. No warning. No identification. Just silent movement. Vaylor whispered. This was not supposed to exist. Satellite humanity's first reveal. In deep orbit, the hidden human defense fleet was finally visible. Not bright like alien warships. Not loud like council cruisers. But dark. Almost invisible. Ships designed to blend with space itself. Old Earth technology mixed with unknown engineering styles that even council scientists had never seen before. Each ship carried no visible markings. Only one symbol was repeated across all hulls. A simple circle around Earth. Rel stepped back. They built a fleet. Vaylor corrected him quietly. No, was. Then he said. They hid one. Globe showing Europe, Africa, Earth Command. The first full activation. Deep underground, inside the Central Command facility, the atmosphere had completely changed. The old officer stood in front of a massive holographic war map. Now it showed Earth, its orbit, and incoming alien positions. A technician spoke. Alien scout ship is retreating. Another voice added. Multiple council vessels are entering the system. The officer nodded slowly. Then it begins. A young operator asked nervously. Sir, are we officially at war? The officer looked at the screen for a long moment. Then he answered. No, was. Then he added. We are no longer hiding. Rocket, the human fleet moves. In space, the hidden human fleet began to move. Not randomly. Not defensively. But strategically. Each ship positioned itself with perfect coordination, as if they had been waiting for this exact moment for centuries. Alien sensors struggled to track them. Some ships appeared for 1 second, then vanished. Others appeared behind council vessels without warning. Ral shouted. They are surrounding us. Vaylor clenched his fists. No, he said slowly. They are containing us. Skull and Crossbones first contact fire. A council patrol ship, larger and heavily armed, attempted to send a warning shot toward one of the human vessels. The energy blast moved across space. For a moment it looked unstoppable. Then something happened. The shot never reached its target. Simply disappeared. No explosion. No reflection. No trace. The alien crew went silent. Then alarms exploded across their systems. Unknown defense field detected. Projectile neutralized. Source unidentified. Ral stared in disbelief. They stopped it without touching it. Vaylor's voice was cold. No, was. They erased it before impact. New Moon, the true human message. For the first time, Earth sent a direct broadcast to all council vessels in the system. Every ship received it. Every system displayed it. No encryption needed. No translation delay. Just simple words. You entered a protected system. The message paused, then continued. Leave peacefully. Silence filled the alien fleet. Then a council commander responded angrily. This is Galactic Council Space Authority. You will obey. The human response came instantly. This is Earth-controlled space. Another pause. Then the final line appeared. You were not invited. Brain, the council panic begins. Inside the council core, panic was no longer hidden. Reports flooded in. Unknown fleet detected, council probe destroyed, communication disruption, increasing human defense network fully active. Thalcor stood in silence, watching everything unfold. One officer spoke urgently. Overseer, we should send reinforcements immediately. Another added. This is a misunderstanding. Humans cannot match council forces. But Thalcor did not respond. He was staring at one single detail. The human fleet was not attacking. It was positioning, as if waiting, as if calculating. Then he finally spoke. This is not a reaction. Everyone turned toward him. This is coordination. Then he said the words no one wanted to hear. They are organized for war. Milky Way, Earth's second layer opens. Back in orbit, something even more shocking began. The ocean surface of Earth lit up. Not physically visible, but on all sensors, massive energy signatures appeared from underwater locations. Then deserts. Then polar regions. Hidden launch systems. Submerged platforms. Buried orbital elevators. All activating at once. Ral stepped back in shock. There is more. Valor whispered. We never saw the surface. Then he corrected himself. We were never meant to. Police car light, the first human strike. Warning shot. A council destroyer attempted to break formation and move toward Earth. It fired a full energy burst toward one human ship. This time the shot did not disappear. It was returned. Not as a blast. Not as an explosion. But as a perfect mirror reflection of energy. The council destroyer froze. Then its systems shut down completely. No damage. No explosion. Just silence. Ralph's voice shook. They turned it off. Valor stared at the disabled ship. No, he said slowly. They told it to stop existing in their network. New Moon, end of Part 3. The Galactic Council fleet had finally met Earth's true defense. Not a single weapon, but an entire hidden system built in silence. And now the galaxy understood something terrifying. Humanity did not prepare for war. Humanity prepared for something that had already started long ago. And Earth was no longer a planet being observed. It was the center of a controlled battlefield. Space near Earth had changed. Not visually, not physically, but everything inside it now felt different. Every alien ship in the Council fleet had the same feeling at the same time, like the space around Earth was no longer empty. It was controlled. The scout ship had fully retreated, but Valor did not feel safe. Not even a little. Behind him, the Council fleet was still forming positions. Dozens of warships, carriers, and command vessels filled the orbital space like a net closing around a target. But the target was not trapped. It was waiting, warning the Council's final decision. Inside the Galactic Council core, panic had turned into pressure. Thalcor stood in the center chamber, surrounded by holographic war maps showing Earth. Every second more red alerts appeared. Council vessels were losing control. Communication was breaking. Unknown systems were interfering with everything. A senior commander shouted, "Overseer! We must strike now before they fully organize." Another officer added, "If we delay, we risk losing the entire sector." Thalcor raised his hand. Silence returned. He stared at Earth's projection for a long moment. Then he spoke slowly. "Send enforcement order." Then he added, "Total engagement authorization." The room froze. Because that order had never been used on a primitive species before. It was reserved for extinction-level threats. Globe showing Europe, Africa, Earth. Final preparation. Deep under Earth's surface, the command facility was no longer calm. It was focused. The old officer stood at the center of the room. Screens surrounded him from every direction. Orbital fleet positions. Alien fleet movements. Energy patterns across the system. A technician spoke. Council has initiated full engagement protocol. Another added. All enemy ships are locking weapons. The officer nodded slowly. So it begins. A young operator hesitated. Sir, are we sure we can handle this? The officer turned slightly. For the first time his voice softened. We are not handling it. Then he said. We are ending it. He raised his hand and gave one final command. Activate Protocol 0. Skull and Crossbones Protocol 0. The forgotten order. The entire facility went silent for half a second. Even the systems seemed to hesitate. Then Earth responded. Not with noise. Not with light. But with awakening. Far beyond the planet, deep hidden systems that had never been active before began to turn on. Not defense systems. Not weapons systems. Something older. Something final. In orbit, the human fleet changed formation instantly. Ships that were scattered now aligned perfectly. Like pieces of a single mind. Ral looked at the display and stepped back. What is happening now? Valor did not answer immediately. Because he finally understood. This is not a fleet, he whispered. This is a response system. Milky Way, the first true human strike. A council battleship fired first. A massive beam of energy crossed space toward Earth's fleet. But this time nothing blocked it. Instead, something intercepted it. Not a shield. Not a ship. But a distortion in space itself. The beam bent, split, and vanished into nothing. Then Earth responded. Not with one attack, but with activation. Every human ship released silent energy pulses. Not explosive, not destructive, but disabling. Council ships suddenly lost coordination. Navigation systems failed. Weapon targeting went blind. Ral shouted. They are shutting us down fleet-wide. Valor's voice was barely audible. No. They are rewriting our systems in real time. Satellite, the Council realization. Inside the Council core, alarms were now constant. Every screen showed the same thing. System interference. Unknown origin. Thalcor stood still. He was no longer reacting like a commander. He was analyzing like a scientist who had just discovered something impossible. One officer said nervously. Overseer, we cannot target their ships. Another added. Our weapons systems are being overridden. Thalcor finally spoke. Slowly, carefully. This is not technology. Everyone turned to him. He continued. This is architecture. Then he pointed at Earth's projection. They are not fighting us inside space. Another pause. They are controlling space itself. New Moon Earth's final message. Every council ship suddenly received a broadcast. But this time it was not just text. It was embedded directly into their systems. No escape. No filter. Only one message appeared. You entered a secured system without authorization. This system is now correcting the intrusion. Ral shouted. That sounds like execution protocol. Valor shook his head. No. Long pause. Then he said. That sounds like cleanup. Skull and Crossbones, the first council ship falls. One council cruiser attempted to retreat. It turned away from Earth's formation. But as it moved, its engines shut down. No explosion. No damage. Just complete system silence. Then another ship. Then another. Ships began drifting helplessly. Not destroyed. Not attacked. Just removed from control. Ralph's voice cracked. They are disabling entire ships without firing. Valor stared at the battlefield. And finally said. We never entered a war. Was. We entered their system. Milky Way, the truth behind humanity. Inside Earth Command, the final layer of data unlocked. The officer looked at a hidden file marked Origin Protocol. Classified. He opened it. For a moment his expression changed. Not fear, not surprise, but confirmation. A technician asked, "Sir, what is it?" The officer closed his eyes briefly, then said, "They think we are defending Earth." Pause. We are not. Another pause. We are maintaining containment. The room went silent. Warning, Final Council understanding. Back in space, Thalcor finally understood what was happening. The human fleet was not attacking randomly. It was isolating Council ships one by one, cutting communication, blocking escape routes, rewriting control systems. Not destruction. Correction. He whispered. They were never a new species. Pause. They were a locked one. New Moon, end of Part 4, final. The Galactic Council had come to Earth expecting a weak civilization. Instead they found something else. System. Structure. A hidden control network older than their entire empire. And now, in the silence of space, humanity was no longer revealing its power. It was simply restoring order. And the galaxy finally understood the truth. Earth was not the beginning of humanity's story. It was the containment zone of its past.